The New Year Nintendo Switch eShop sale continues today with even more great deals that you can pick up right now. Every game on today's list is at an all-time low, and they're all under $10. We covered a ton of games under $5 in our previous episodes, and so for today we'll stick in that sweet spot between $5 and $10 for this video. Thanks as always for hanging out. I hope you all enjoy the holiday and stay safe, and with all that said, we'll dive in. Aragami the Shadow Edition is a 3D stealth action game from Merge Games that offers about 10 to 12 hours of main story gameplay. You'll assume the role of an undead assassin, and as such you have the power to control the shadows. This mechanic is used in combination with other abilities to make your way through each level. The Shadow Edition includes the base game and the prequel DLC Nightfall as well, which adds new characters and shadow powers that you'll have to master. It's a great value when on sale, and right now it's at an all-time low. You can pick it up for just $5.99, marked down 80% with the deal ending on the 4th. Now you will need about 3.7 gigs for the install. Carrion is a single-player 2D action platformer from Devolver Digital. It has a download around 600 megabytes and offers about 5 to 6 hours of story. The game is classified as a reverse horror game, which just means that you basically get to play as the bad guy or the monster, and in this one you can consume your victims to become stronger and mutate into an even more powerful creature. You get to wreak havoc and take out your enemies as you try to escape the isolated prison. The graphics and sound are top tier, and this is definitely worth checking out. Right now it's on sale for just $5.99, marked down 70% with the deal ending again on the 4th. Itorah is a 2D action platformer for one player. The game comes to us from Assemble Entertainment and offers roughly 8 to 10 hours of main story, and it follows our main character through a gorgeous world in which we're the last remaining human, and the environment is full of strange creatures. But to make things worse, a plague is infecting everything, and so we have to try to put an end to it. Now the combat and puzzles are both pretty simplistic, but overall the game is enjoyable, both to play and look at, and it would be great for newcomers or lesser experienced folks out there. Right now you can pick it up for just $5.99, marked down 70% to a brand new low, and the deal ends on the 4th. Now you will need a little over 6 gigs for the install. Marsupilami Hoobadventure is a fun single-player 2D platformer and the newest mainline title in the series. It gives players roughly 3 to 6 hours of main story gameplay and allows you to switch between the 3 main protagonists at any time, and that's pretty cool. Now sadly they don't really have much that separates them as far as gameplay, but it does play great and controls well here on the Switch, and of course you have those long tails which you can use for movement or even as your main attack. The game offers more than 20 levels with some pretty creative boss battles, and there are multiple difficulty settings, making it great for beginners and more advanced players. Right now it's marked down 80%, bringing it to a new all-time low at just $5.99, and the deal ends on the 9th. Pronty is a single-player Metroidvania that takes place underwater. It offers about 8 to 10 hours of fun gameplay, with a download slightly under 3 gigs. Now I know underwater levels are usually the worst, and so an entire game underwater doesn't really sound that enticing. However, the game is actually a lot of fun. The enemy and environments are varied enough to keep the game from getting stale, and the boss battles are a lot of fun too. Plus, they even have a boss rush mode for added replay value. It looks gorgeous here on the console, controls well, and the best part is that it's on sale at a brand new low, marked down to half price at just $7.49, with the deal ending on the 6th. Pumpkin Jack is a single-player 3D action platformer that will take roughly 6 to 7 hours to wrap up. Now of course we play as the titular character Jack, and we've been contracted by the devil to do his bidding. The game is fairly linear, but there are a few different level types to keep it fresh along the way. One really cool mechanic are the areas where you have to solve puzzles or complete tasks with just Jack's head, leaving his body behind. Now the game is definitely a collectathon on top of everything else, but if you enjoy these types of platform adventure games, make sure to grab it up before the deal ends on the 5th. It's marked down 75% to an all-time low at just $7.49. The download comes in at about 3 gigs. Boomerang X is a single-player arcade-style first-person shooter with a 2 gig download and a story that should take a couple of hours to wrap up. However, with that said, it does have a ton of replay value, so you'll get plenty of playtime for the pickup. Now this is a fast-paced game where you'll be taking out enemies with your boomerang, which you can also use as a way to teleport around or behind your opponents to get a better shot on them. Right now you can pick it up for just $7.99, marked down 60% to a brand new low, with the deal ending again on the 4th. Doom 2016 is a great port here on the console. It gives players all of the intense action that you would find elsewhere, but in a portable form factor, and it offers up to 12-player online PvP as well. The game runs great here on the Switch, and of course it does take a bit of a graphical hit, but it doesn't take anything away from the fun of the game. The only real downside in my opinion to picking it up digitally is that you need over 20 gigs for the install, so make sure that you have an SD card for your Switch before you buy it. It really is an impressive port, and right now you can pick it up for just $7.99, marked down 80% to a brand new low, with the deal ending again on the 4th. Next we have Final Fantasy IX, and a ton of games from the series are on sale right now. It occurred to me that I've never covered Part 9 here on the channel, and so for today let's take a look at this masterpiece as it's currently marked down to a brand new low here on the Switch. Now this one has some of the most memorable characters out of any of the classic games, and some set pieces that you'll remember long after you finish. It offers more than 50 hours of gameplay, and they've added in an autosave feature for convenience of course, and you can even turn off random encounters as well. Now I enjoy them personally, but they do get tedious by the end of a long game like this. Right now you can pick up Part 9 for just $8.39, again an all-time low, and the deal ends on the 4th. The download is just about 5 gigs. Blossom Tales 2: The Minotaur Prince is an incredible top-down Zelda-like adventure title. It's a single-player outing just like the first one, and this time gives players an even more expansive world that they can explore. It has a download around 325 megabytes and should last roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up. Now the way these games tell the story is always interesting, and once again we have fun dungeons, tight controls, and enjoyable combat. And for fans of older Zelda titles, you'll recognize many of the gadgets or items that you can find as well. I highly recommend this one. It's actually a steal at just $8.99, a brand new low marked down 40%, and the deal ends on the 6th. Kingdom 80s is the newest game from a long-running series. This time they went with a new story-driven approach, and it takes place back in the days of summer camps, bike riding, and Saturday morning cartoons. A mysterious force has taken over the neighborhood, and you play as a camp counselor called the Leader. You can recruit other kids and assign them roles to help defend the camp. And while I do enjoy the game, I definitely wish there was a bit more replay value or some multiplayer options. As it stands though, it's still a pretty solid pickup for solo players. It's marked down 25% to a brand new low at just $8.99, and the deal ends on the 4th. You'll need about 4 gigs for the install. Turrican Flashback is a collection of 4 retro action platformers with a small download under 100 megabytes, and it offers about 6 hours of combined gameplay. All of these games have been enhanced with HD upgrades to both the audio and the graphics. They've also updated the user interface and the controls to make it more accessible for modern day gamers. With this collection you get Turrican 1 and 2, along with Mega Turrican and Super Turrican. Right now you can pick up the bundle for just $8.99, a brand new low, and the deal ends on the 3rd. Tormented Souls is a single-player survival horror game that was inspired by classics like the early Resident Evil games and Silent Hill games. We play as a young woman named Caroline as she searches for 2 missing girls. At the start of the game, you wake up strapped to some sort of medical equipment. From there, the gameplay is a lot like those older games with resource and inventory management, and combat that sees you really having to make a choice between spending your last few rounds of ammo or just running away. The controls and camera system have been updated, but you can put the old school 10 controls on if you'd rather play that way. Right now you can pick it up at an all-time low at just $9.99, marked down to half price with the deal ending on the 4th. You will need about 10 gigs for the install though. Alright everyone, here are a few other great deals to check out while you're already on the eShop.
with flaming arrows and bitter vengeance. The fork-tongued frogs now threaten these solemn lands.
A 16-bit destructible open world, spanning from the city to the suburbs, the beach to the water, to farms, parks, and the jungle.
Ferocious combat. Confront the calamitous gods. Acquire powers beyond mortal comprehension.
One would think that almost dying twice would teach you when to quit.
What can I say? Seems I'm a slow learner. I'm on.
Alright everyone, that wraps up today's video. Thanks as always for hanging out. Happy New Year to everyone. Please be safe if you're going out. Make it home. Take care everyone.